1971 to 1974. Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Trawler.
Game 560, Phillies at Pirates. Welcome back, baseball fans. 1971-74 Carryover League. We continue in the tournament. In the second round, the end of it, really, the end of the tournament, second round, the portion of the tournament, where we will end up with 16 teams left. And then in the third round, we will set the final 2 playoff teams to join the 4 division winners. And so let's just do a quick overview while we have a moment here. The American League is having a wild affair. These 4 teams are going to fight for the final 2 playoff spot in the next round of 3. This is games over 500. The Yankees are 8 over, not in first. Toronto as well, 7, and then 5 and 4. So this is your 5th best. I always put the 5th best here: 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And so we're setting up the National League side of things. And here we are with the last best of 5 and 5 gamers between the Pirates and Phillies. We have played Houston, finished the Rockies easily 2 straight. The Padres finished Arizona 3-1, and the Cardinals finished the Mets 2-0. This has not been a lot of competition, folks, as you can tell. 7-1 for the teams who win: Cardinals, Padres, and Astros. Now, the interesting predicament is what the Padres have going on here. We can erase that for now. We have Houston, the Cardinals, currently sitting at 5 and 6. And the Padres are way down here, but they're 2 under 500. So there is a reasonable chance, that the Pirates and Phillies could both advance, because they both could have records better than the Padres. For that to happen, Pittsburgh just needs to win a game, and they will continue into the tournament. That's all the Pirates have to do. They're game over 500. Just win a baseball game, Pittsburgh, and you continue playing your 1971 World Series season, for what that's worth. So it's a best of 5 because there's a half game separating these 2 teams. 2-1, and it's a half a game. So it's a best of 5. And again, if the Pirates were to get swept, this +1 would turn into a -2. And the Padres and Pirates would have a tiebreaker to decide who continues into the next round of the tournament. So let's take a look at what's happened here. Pirates at Phillies. Pirates, 1971 world champions against a Philadelphia team that in 71 wasn't good, and 72 lost a ton of games. That was the year Carlton won 27 and the Phillies won 50-some altogether. This is the early 70s Phillies, who aren't supposed to be any good. We're not near that mid to late 70s Philly team that would compete with the Pirates in the National League East. So this would be at the very, very, very beginnings of the rivalry that we don't have in our league because we have separate divisions. The realignment puts the Phillies in the East and the Pirates in the National League Central. So with that, in Game 1, it is Bob Moose. He has to get the start today because Steve Blass pitched the 5th game of the previous series, the final game of that series, so he needs some time off. So it's Bob Moose versus Steve Carlton, who gets the nod, the ace of the Phillies. The Pirates strike first on a Bill Mazeroski home run. Bill Mazeroski's final season with the Pirates in 71 was to get himself another World Series ring, and he would traditionally, in traditional MLB, trying to do it here in Strat-O-Matic as well. Home run there. Bottom of the 5th, though, with 2 outs, we give a Gary Maddox RBI triple. It's 1-1. It will stay 1-1. Carlton is a starter 9. I let my starter 9s go 10, and he went 10. So Carlton's final line, the Mazeroski homer, 5 other hits, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Moose went 7, giving up the 1 run and 8 hits. They had Ramon Hernandez pitched the 8th and 9th, scoreless innings, though he did put a bunch of guys on base. He put 4 men on in those 2 innings. With a bunch of righties on the docket in the 10th inning, and in the 11th inning, Bruce Keeson was brought in. Had a nice 10th inning, but in the 11th inning, a single, a sac bunt, a walk, bases loaded, 1 out, and what do you think? Gary Maddox with the grand slam. Sac fly is all he really needed. He went over the wall for the grand slam. Kind of an easy extra inning win for the Phillies. Gary Maddox 3 for 5, all 5 RBI. And the Phillies also 5 runs on 14 hits. Pirates 1 run on 7. Phillies 1 more walk as well. Phillies just playing, they're just a better playing team right now when history suggests they shouldn't be. So do the Pirates. Can they get a road win in Game 2? It's going to be Jim Rooker for the Pirates. And it's going to be Wayne Twitchell for the Phillies. Bottom of the first, Rooker in trouble. After a strikeout, a single walk, double by Darren Johnson, RBI ground out, RBI single, Tony Taylor, 3-zip. The Pirates finally get some offense. In the 5th inning, a single, a double, and then a 3-run homer by Stargell. And then a solo shot by Bob Robertson. 4 runs plus the Mazeroski homer in Game 1, all by the long ball. 4-3, Pirates have a lead. Rooker is pulled after 6 because the Phillies have this strange lineup of righty, 7 straight righties. So they bring in Bruce Keeson, who's good against righties. Except he isn't that good because Gary Maddox hits a solo homer off of him, off his card. And the game's tied at 4. Pirates offense continues to flail away against Max Scarse and Fred Gladding, and Twitchell's final line, 7 innings, did give up 10 hits, 4 runs, and 4 walks. Pirates, Keeson left. Dick Kelly was okay in the inning, putting a couple batters on base. They have to bring their closer in a tie game in the bottom of the 10th and say, pitch till this game's over with, Justy. And Justy must be in a hurry because he does get this game over pretty quickly. Lazinski leadoff single, Darren Johnson single, Roy Foster single, all off of Justy's card. Actually, one of these was off the hitter's cards, but 3 straight singles. They bring the infield up. They do get the out at the plate. They keep the infield up, and of course, Terry Harmon hits the ball through the plus. Ground ball double play, but you had the infield up because, you know, your season is about to end, it would seem, something like that. And another extra inning win for the Phillies. This one 5-4 over the continually befuddling Pittsburgh Pirate franchise that has been the biggest downer of all these baseball teams that we are playing in this timeline. The Pirates have delivered nothing in the last 3 years but a headache. For a team that had the best record in the World Series championship in 71, had the best record in baseball in 72, they have done nothing. Let's take an overall look at the standings now. Boy, this Pirates team is, as you can tell, really frustrated me. Just their offense doesn't do much, their defense doesn't do much, nor does their pitching. They're 18-19. It's going to be hard to win a World Series when you're a game under 500, but that's what the Pirates are going to have to try and figure out. They're a game under 500 here, and if they get swept today, they would be in a tiebreaker 2 under 500 with the Padres. They need to rip off 3 straight wins to beat the Phillies, first of all. And yeah, they need to win the day to keep their season on life support. At home in Game 3 for the Phillies, it'll be Pat Dobson, acquired from Baltimore in the offseason in the Grant Jackson deal. Dobson was one of Baltimore's 20-game winners in 1971. Probably would have pitched in the 71 series, I'm thinking, if they had all 4 starters pitch. They might not have with days off. They might have just gone Palmer, Quay, or McNally. I don't know if Dobson did have a start. Anyway, maybe the sight of Pat Dobson will breathe some life into these Pirates, knowing that they did beat Baltimore in that World Series. And for these Pirates, it is their guy, Steve Blass, who won Game 7 of the 1971 World Series in Baltimore against, it was Mike Cuellar that day. 15-8, 285 ERA, and 240 innings. I can't do any more for the Pirates other than put in a bunch of runs in these little things and not roll the dice and just cheat and give them a win. I can't do anything else to help this team. Lineup number 40 of the season. It's shuffled again, trying to get some offense out of this team, made up of 300 hitters who hit about 250. So, yeah, here we are. Can the Pirates win a baseball game? Keep their season going? Well, we're about to find out. Leading off for the Phillies, it's Mike Schmidt. 33, grounds to short. Gary Maddox, 49, second X. This is second baseman today is Rennie Stennett. He's a 40-41. Hopefully at home he'll make a play, and he does. Good for him. And Luzinski, 6'11", first X. And this is Robertson. He's a 2E11. He should be able to make a play. A 2, E11. He makes the play. Home cooking is what the Pirates have needed. All right, lineup number 3,000. This is the list of characters who have led off this year for the Pirates. Frank Tavares, he got kicked out. Milbourne, no thank you. Clemente, when they lost a bunch in a row, we put Clemente up there. Al Oliver's been up there. Manny Sanguine's been up there. Now today, Richie Hebner is the current leadoff hitter for the Pirates. This is a team that clearly misses Matty Alou, who was traded out of that Pirate outfield because they had so many young outfielders coming up. But Matty Alou used to lead off for this team. Now it's going to be Richie Hebner today. 46 is a strikeout. Roberto Clemente, 2-5, bounce to short. And with 2 outs, it's Stargell, 69, base hit. 2 outs for Bob Robertson, 2-5, bounces to short. Top of 2. Darren Johnson, 68, pops to short. Johnny Callison, 66, flies to center. Tony Taylor, 6'6", flies to right. Bottom of 2. Al Oliver, now batting 5th. Was batting 3rd. Was batting 1st, 2nd. 2-11. Pops to 1st. No matter where he bats. Rennie Stennett, 1-7. There's a base hit for the .353 hitting second baseman. Dave Parker, 48. Double one off Dobson. It's the double one. So there's a big break for the Pirates. They have 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Phillies will play it back in a scoreless game early for Sanguine, giving up a ground ball RBI. Doesn't matter because he strikes Sanguine out. With 2 outs, Larry Milbourne looking for a big 2-out single, and he rolls to third base. Scoreless. Top of the 3rd. Tim McCarver. 110's a base hit. Larry Boa often likes to hit and run when he can, and he will here. And this time, though, it's a pop out on a 10. Denny Doyle. 4-4 off the blast card. Homer, 1-14 double. He fortunately misses it because he doesn't have power. So it's a double to center field. McCarver could run, but he will not. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out for Mike Schmidt. And the Pirates will also play it back because Schmidt strikes out a lot. And it's scoreless. They don't want to bring the infield up and do what happened to them at the end of game 2. Mike Schmidt, 56, is a strikeout. And with 2 outs, it's Gary Maddox. 55, short X. And you have Mr. Milbourne there, a 3E38 shortstop. And he makes the play with 2 outs. That's a big out there. Bottom of the 3rd, it's Richie Hebner. 1-4 is a hit by pitch on a strange dice roll. So that's what you want out of your leadoff hitter. Get on base. Roberto Clemente, 39, is a fly to left for a .341 hitter who hits about 305, 290, something like that against righties. Crushes lefties though. Stargell, 2-9, strikeout, and with 2 outs, Bob Robertson, 1-7 is a walk. Big moment here for Al Oliver, the .312 hitting center fielder. 2-3, misses the column again, pops out. It continues for the Pirates. Doing nothing. Into the 4th inning we go. Greg Luzinski, 3-6 is a K. Darren Johnson, 1-7 is a K. Johnny Callison, 6'10", third X. Hebner's a 3E12 at third base, makes the play. Bottom of the 4th. Rennie Stennett, 68 is a K. The Cobra Dave Parker is a single. Manny Sanguillen, 1-5 is double one. Single dot dot on the corners with 1 out. Now they're going to bring it up with 1 out. They don't want to run the score from third. Milbourne. 48, he'll hit the Dobson card, double one, single dot dot, and the Pirates have it going here in the fourth. 1-0, they take a lead. Runners on the corners, 1 out. They're going to keep it up for Hebner. 2-7, and there it is, the plus. Let's take a look at Richie Hebner's card. You see why we decided to make him a leadoff hitter? Because he actually has some walks, something you desire out of a leadoff hitter. Hebner hits 300 with this card, making him the 4th best hitter on that 72 team with a 300 batting average. This just shows you how loaded these Pirates are. If they ever put their mind to it and they just want to blow out everybody, they certainly could. But 2-7 here is third beat plus. We had the infield up, and that of course was the mistake, and that's a 2-run, that's a RBI single. Well, now you may as well just keep it up. Runners in the corners, 1 out for Clemente. 2-12, and that does prevent the run from scoring on a ground out. Now you got second and third with 2 outs for Stargell. 45's a walk. That loads them with 2 outs for Bob Robertson. 65 pops to first. So with all that, they get a deuce. 2-0 Pirates into the 5th. Glass needs to slam the door for his struggling offense. Tony Taylor, 69, flies left. Tim McCarver, 65, center. Larry Boa, 35, is a base hit. A stealer, but they haven't been wanting to challenge Sanguillen's -3 arm. Denny Doyle, 111, flies to right. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, now Oliver leads off in the bottom of the 5th. 59, rolls a second. Stennett, 46. 46 is second X. Second baseman Doyle is a 2E14. Makes the play, and with 2 outs, it's the Cobra, Dave Parker. 67, single 1-17 off the Dobson card, it's a base hit. And Sanguillen, 310, crowns to third base. Defensively, they're going to put Bill Mazeroski in there and move Mr. Rennie Stennett to DH, which is probably would have been a pretty good DH in this era if they nationally had one. Fortunately, the Pirates can do that in this era of DHs in both leagues. So then it's terrible defense will no longer hurt the Pirates. Mazeroski takes over at second. Into the 6th inning we go. We have a 2-0 affair. It'll be Mike Schmidt. 1-7, let's take a look at the Mike Schmidt card of 1974. Was the first round pick in the draft. 36 homers, 106 walks, and a 282 batting average for Mike Schmidt, folks. This performance is not too far off from what he would do in 1980-81 when he won the MVP. I mean, he has this great 74, and then he still is very good in the 1970s, don't get me wrong, but it takes a while before he tops this card. This is triple 1-5 single, it's a base hit. A stealer, not going to steal against Sanguillen. Gary Maddox, 48, is ball 4. Here come the Phillies. 2 on, nobody out for the Bull, Greg Luzinski. 57, Blast strikes him out. Darren Johnson. 69, flies to left, and with 2 outs, big moment here, Johnny Callison. 111, bounces to first. Blast battles back in a 2-0 game. Manny Sanguillen. 2-8 is a base hit. Richie Hebner. 67 off Dobson. That single 1-17 gets it. Dobson's a ton of singles. Most of these have been singles. Just 1 extra base hit, a double there. And he had the infield up and got another single. First and second for Clemente. 57 is a K. Willie Stargell. 57 against a lefty is a K. And Bob Robertson, 55, is a sky to center field. And Mr. Pat Dobson frustrates these Pirates again, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 men on base. They get 2 runs. Putting more pressure on Steve Blass in the 7th inning. 2-0 game. It'll be Tony Taylor. Phil's right in this thing still. 46, base hit. And now your tie run is Tim McCarver. 2-7, that is a third B+. Not holding Taylor, so it's a fielder's choice. Boa with a runner at first. 4-4. Homer 1-14. Of course, he doesn't have it, so that's going to be a single ... Runners on the corners. Blast is a starter 8. You can play back with a 2-run lead and try and get a double play. As Boa, you don't have to bring it up. He's a B bunter, so we'll permit him to play it back, as not to get a cheap hit off that plus. Runners on the corners. Hold, but play back for Denny Doyle. 55 off of Blast is second X. This is Mazeroski. This is the move, and this is already set up right there. So, huge moment for the Pirates. Bill Mazeroski, the defensive replacement for Stennett, a 2E10 second baseman, 2E14 double play, GBA because you had the infield back. Inning over. Wow, the Pirates look genius suddenly after that one. The Phils are frustrated. Thought they had something cooking there in the 7th. Stretch time in Pittsburgh. We've been enjoying the Intruders 1975 Energy of Love LP. This is their version of the Diamond in the Back song there. Yeah, great stuff by the Intruders. A band on the Gamble label. Would have been in, I don't know, Pittsburgh or Philadelphia during this era. Pennsylvania band, I believe. I think that's where they're from. The Intruders. Great stuff there from them. Back to the game, bottom of the 7th. It's not quite the era of Sister Sledge and the Family in Pittsburgh yet. We're still in the early part of the decade, if you're wondering. So 2-0. Bottom of the 7th. Pat Dobson is lucky to still be alive in this one. Again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 13 men on. He will continue on as the Phils are up 2-0 in this series, so they're not overly concerned about this deficit. It's Al Oliver. 39, flies to center. And now Stennett at DH, 1-7 singles. And here is Bill Mazeroski. Let's take a look at him. Big defensive play. So he's a 2 at second, a 3 at third. Hits lefties better than righties. Stuck around in 71. 254 batting average. Trying to be a World Series hero for a second time. And, well, at this point, he saved the Pirates' skin in the top of the inning. The pitch to Mazeroski. 3-6, single 1 to 8. It's a line out. It's better against lefties, not righties. And with 2 outs, it's Manny Sanguillen. 68 is a K. Pat Dobson battles back. We go to the 8th. Steve Blass needs 6 outs. They do have Hernandez and Justy, the talented back end. Haven't pitched particularly well this year, but they are talented. Mike Schmidt leads off in the 8th. 33, bounce to short. Gary Maddox, 45 off the Blast cards, a single. Runner has to be held on for Lozinski, the tie run. 2-6 for Lozinski, single 1 to 16. Let me just double check. It is single 1 to 16. Line out the rest, and Lozinski just misses this one. Terrible break for the Phillies. In a series that seems to be evening itself up as far as lucky breaks go. But you have to deal with Darren Johnson, the tie run with 2 outs. 4-5 again off the Blast card is a single. Should have been knocked out on 3 straight singles. That's a single to right, though. Maddox will not make the final out at third when you're down 2. And it's John Callison against Blast. And I think they're going to pull the guy after 7 2/3 on the verge of breaking, Steve Blass, and go to the brilliant Dave Justy and try and get this guy out, because Justy is outstanding. He is the closer, 7-4, the .92 ERA in 75 innings and 72. Magnificent card, no home runs against the lefties. Much better chance of getting him out than Blass. Justy here in the 8th with runners at first and second. John Callison. Take a look at John Callison's card. If you brought in the lefty, they would have just gone Roy Foster on the bench. But Callison had 9 homers and 275 at-bats for the Yankees in 72. Here we go with a pitch to John Callison. 6-12 off of Justy. Rolls to first, C. Bottom of the 8th inning, you got Milbourne, Hebner. The first 2 guys are lefty. They're going to pull Dobson after 7. They're going to go Max Scarce here in the 8th. Scarce was 1-8 with a 2.41 ERA in 73 and 71 innings. And he'll face Larry Milbourne. 2-4, bounce to short. Richie Hebner back up top, 36, and Hebner singles. Now you got Clemente. Scarce will pitch through to Stargell, the lefty, so he'll pitch to Clemente with a runner on and 1 out. 6-10, third X. Big moment here for the defense and Mike Schmidt, a 2E26 third baseman here. And that's ground ball C. They'll take that. Moving the runner, staying out of the double play, moving the runner to scoring position, and it'll be Stargell, runner at second, 2 outs against the lefty. 2-7 is a strikeout. Buckle up, folks. Into the 9th inning we go of a 2-0 game for the Pirates. The Padres are anxiously flipping on the TV to see if their season will continue, possibly. They need the Phillies to rally in the 9th, down 2-0. And Justy, the closer, needs 3 more outs. It'll be Tony Taylor leading off. 47 is a K. McCarver, he's 1 for 3 today. 48 is a fly ball to center, and with 2 outs, it comes down to Larry Boa, who is 2 for 3 today. Let's take a look at the Boa card. He is a 249 hitter in 7 million plate appearances in 71. He had 686 plate appearances with 18 doubles, 5 triples, and of course no dingers. The pitch to Larry Boa. 37 is a K. That'll do it. And the Pirates befuddle the Phillies today, at least. Start to climb back into this series with a 2-0 victory. Blass and Justy had the answer pitching. And the Pirates did enough to get a couple runs, even though they clearly aren't impressive with their offense still, after all this time. So let's go to the box. We're going to take a look at the stats for the teams. Justy, nice 4-out save. Got Callison out and then 2 more strikeouts in the 9th. Steve Blass does get a win. 8 hits and a walk, 4 strikeouts. Has to share the shutout with Justy. Scarce gave up a hit and a K. Pat Dobson, fortunate to only give up 2 runs, even though one of those was because the infield was up. 1019, 0108, 21208, 21208. These teams scored 2 runs on 24 base runners. It's not what we want to see. That is not a championship pedigree whatsoever. 1019, 0108, 21208, 1638. Home cooking. Haven't gotten a road win in the series. Something else we desire to prove your mettle in this thing. The Pirates needed the home field and the home defense to climb back to 500. Congratulations, Pirates. Don't start patting yourself on the back now. But you're back at 500. When you have plenty of heavy lifting to do in your quest to win the 1971 World Series. A lot of things have to start going your way that haven't been thus far. So here we are, the Pirates. They have 19 wins and a staggering 19 losses. Hitting .275 with a .382 ERA. They've scored 174 runs. They've given up 169. There's nothing fluky about that. It's +5, no big deal, and they're at 500. You do have 12 homers for Stargell. and 34 RBI, but he's also hitting 30 for 145. He's hitting 207. So if you're okay with Stargell hitting 207 with a bunch of homers, great. Let's see what else we have going here. Bob Robertson has 11 home runs. He's 34 for 143. He's hitting 238. We do have Clemente, 53 for 161. That'll help. Yeah, he's hitting 329. His card hits 341, but we ain't going to ding him for that. How about Stennett? Stennett is 36 for 106. Hitting 340 with a 353 card. I could go on and on. So basically, you get the idea. They're just... Every guy on the team is, in some regard, underachieving a little bit. Nobody's playing unreal. Nobody is red sizzling hot, and haven't been all year. Meanwhile, the Phillies, they're still pretty happy. They're 19 and 16, hitting 261 with a 2.94 ERA, folks. That is fantastic. 2.94 ERA for the Phillies? In any year of this decade, they would have loved that. Didn't matter. 71, 79, 80, 81. Give the Phillies a 2.94 ERA. They're singing hallelujah. Carlton's got 7 complete games, but of just a 5-3 record. But he, 22 times 9 in 100 innings, he's got a 1.98 ERA with that card, as you would expect. But they've been getting good pitching out of Pat Dobson. You see the 70 innings, 68 hits, a lot of hits, but only 15 runs for that 20-game winner. Wayne Twitchell's 5-2. Jerry Johnson's got 10 1/3 scoreless innings of relief. Some really quality pitching for these Phillies. Home run leader Mike Schmidt got off to a house of fire with homers. Has really cooled off. He's only sitting at 8. He had like 6 of them in April and May. He's just got 8 homers, 17 RBI. Struggling hitting below 250. Not many other homers for a big bopping Philadelphia offense here. We do have 44 hits for Maddox, but 44 for 155. 284 for him. Yeah, it would seem that for the Pirates to come back and win this series, they just have to beat up this great Philly pitching staff. As crazy it is to say. It's been the great Philly pitching staff that has got us to where we are. Take another quick look at the standings. Pirates a game and a half behind both the Cubs and Cards here. What this effectively does is there's no path now for the San Diego Padres, and with that we have to bid their season adieu. At 2 games under 500, they cannot continue in this tournament, as the Astros will continue in the tournament along with the Cardinals, the Phillies, and yes, these Pirates. Even if they lose another game to the Phillies and go 19 and 20, or even 20 and 20, that's still better than 17-19. So we'll give you the results of Game 4 and 5 if necessary. It'll be Bob Moose coming back on short rest. This is not good for the Phillies. He's okay, but Carlton's doing the same thing. So Carlton's going to come back for the Phillies and try and get a road win on short rest. Yeah, Carlton, Moose in Game 4, and Twitchell's going to come back in Philadelphia for Game 5, and it'll be Alan Foster for the Pirates. So Pirates still have a lot of work to do here. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time. Well, folks, here's the box score of the game you just saw. The Pirates beating the Phillies 2-0. They would come back with a Game 4 in Pittsburgh with a rematch of the Game 1 pitchers, Bob Moose and Steve Carlton. Let's see, can the Pirates even this series up at 2 games apiece against lefty? Carlton and Moose, and yes, this is a different story than Game 1. Phillies get an early lead, RBI double by Luzinski, and then an RBI again by Luzinski in the third, 2-0. But suddenly, inexplicably, in the 3rd inning, the Pirates figure out lefty early. A single, walk, something the Pirates don't do, walk. They don't do that very often. That leads to a 2-run double by Clemente and a sac fly. It's 3-2. Phils tie it right back up after a 2-out error by Bob Moose, RBI single by Denny Doyle. After Larry Boa stolen base. Cheap run, that's the Phillies. They get it. Tied at 3. Doesn't matter. Bottom of the 3rd, they get the lefty again. A single by Taveras. A 2-run homer by Hebner. A double by Clemente. RBI single, Al Oliver. 6 runs off a lefty. Will that be enough? Well, just to make sure, in the 6th inning, after 2 outs, Clemente walk, Oliver single, Bob Robertson 3-run homer, and Carlton throws the towel in. He is knocked out and knocked around, finally, by a Pirates offense. It's taken them 2 years. They finally have a great game offensively, bashing Steve Carlton's 27 win card of 72. Final score is 10-5. Bob Moose stayed out there for a complete game, even though he had his point of weakness to the 9th, because they wanted to preserve the bullpen for a Game 5 matchup back in Philadelphia. Have not seen a road win yet in this series, which really proves a team's mettle, and we've seen very little of that between these two teams. So we go to Philadelphia for a Game 5. It is Alan Foster, a rookie they took out of the Cardinal system, against Wayne Twitchell. And Foster's on a short leash. Again, we said we're going to Bob Moose through a complete game, so the Pirates were going to use their bullpen extensively if needed. Well, when they needed it, didn't help a whole lot. First inning, after an out, an error by normally sure-handed Richie Hebner at 3rd base, a walk, strikeout, walk, and you guessed it, folks, a 2-out, 3-run double by Tony Taylor. These Phillies are just a clutch-hitting team with 2 outs, it seems. 3 runs on a hit in the first inning with an error in there. Then in the 4th inning, same kind of thing. 2 guys reach, 2 outs, a 2-out triple, Gary Maddox, 5-0. Homer by Johnny Callison in the 5th, and you see where this is going, folks. Same old Pirates. They just don't have an answer. They can't figure out Wayne Twitchell. They get a solo homer by Bob Robertson in the 9th. Fred Glading has to finish the game as the Pirates try a late rally. Too little, much too late. Phillies beat the Pirates 6-1. The home team, home field advantage, won every game. 3-2 for the Phillies and Pirates, who will both advance, actually, into the next round of the tournament. And now we have our matchups here. Here we go. So Pittsburgh and Philadelphia right there, a game over. Phillies 2 over, best of 5. Phillies win 3-2. Phillies 3 over. We're going to sit an advancing team, Pittsburgh, here in San Diego's spot. We're kicking San Diego to these are the guys who get kicked out. But it's not looking good for the Pirates. At 20-20, 0 games over 500, while there are other 3 teams in this round here all have winning records. American League, you can see how much better over 500 teams 5 through 8 are. 15, 20, 24 games over 500. And here, National League is just 10 over 500. So you're almost seeing the interleague battle difference represented right here that we've been talking about all year. Similar kind of round, though. Okay? Your number 5 Astros against the number 8 Pirates, and same thing over here in the American League. Cleveland and Pittsburgh, dark horses. Pirates down 2 full games against the Astros, winning 2 out of 3 with 3 games left is not good enough. They have to win all 3 games. They don't get a tiebreaker when you're down out a complete run. Have to beat the Astros 3 straight times. 2 out of 3 games are going to be for the home team. The home team can elect to play Game 2 or Game 3 at home, depending on how they want to do that. But 2 of the 3 games will be at the home cooking in the tournament. Meanwhile, Phillies Cardinals, both 3 over 500. That's a simple best of 3. One more thing to look at, folks, is the overall standings. And here we have the Cubs. They, of course, win the tiebreaker with the Cardinals. They beat them in the regular season and in this tournament. So they have the tiebreaker. Some interesting scenarios here. If the Pirates do indeed sweep the Astros 3 straight, they would cover the ground to tie the Cubs, and they win the tiebreaker over the Cubs for the division champion. They beat the Cubs head-to-head. So they would win the division if they win all 3 games. Literally, or at least, let's just put it this way. They'd be tied with the Cubs because we still have to figure out the Cardinals. If the Cardinals win their series, they would also be ahead of the Cubs because they would be 4 games over 500. So what you're looking at is that the Cubs are safe. They're going to the playoffs, but there's a high chance that they go as a wild card instead of as a division winner. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are playing to live another day. If the Cardinals don't beat the Phillies and the Pirates don't, they're done. Their seasons are over. So that's the kind of the way you have to look at it here, is that the Cubs aren't risking anything, just sitting and watching and hoping they can hold on and win the division. Pirate result probably won't happen. And the Cardinal result, I don't know who. The Phillies are 20-17. Cardinals 22-19. That'll be a fun series. Don't know the overall results. We do know that the Braves are going to be number 1. Nobody can catch the Giants either. 6 over 500. They're 2. These guys are awful and 4. That leaves this division winner 3. The Cubs might turn out to be the best wild card team at 5. With the Pirates or Phillies or Astros. Well, actually, no, the Astros. Yeah, the Astros are 4 over 500. We don't know what's going to happen in that series with the Pirates either. So there it is, folks. Real nail-biting. The fact that we have the Orioles here currently with a bye watching the tournament results to see if they can hold on to their division lead. And the Cubs, same thing. Watching TV to see if they can hold on to their division title without the worry of their season being over. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, Pirates, Yankees, Blue Jays, Expos, and Indians all have to worry if their seasons are going to end in this tournament. That's it. Break up the Phillies. They win a best of 5 against the Pirates, 3-2. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.